First speaker tonight is Stacia Pleasant. She's a literacy initiative coordinator at Book Cycle. She's going to be talking about facilitating early literacy experiences, good outcomes for them. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Stacia. Can you hear me okay? Okay. As Nilu said, I work with a volunteer organization called Book Cycle. It was started back in 2003. I hooked up with this woman named, appropriately enough, Colleen Reeder, and she had this idea for a program based on her own research, because she's also in literacy and speech pathology. And her idea was that we needed a program where children made more choices, but in terms of, and while that's a good idea, in terms of implementation, I hooked up with her to develop the first pilot program for that. So that was 7 years ago. And we started with a small group of children in a Head Start classroom. So I'll get to our our current statistics in a little bit. First of all, I want to tell you some of the things that we know about early childhood initiatives and emergent literacy, as we call children, from birth, even before they're born, children's access to books and reading. We have good research indicating that during these early childhood experiences with literacy, these are good predictors of later school success. In fact, preschool literacy skills are good indicators of kindergarten skills, and kindergarten skills are good indicators of first grade skills. First grade skills are good indicators of what college you will attend after you graduate high school. So these connections are really important. In addition, another important thing at this time, when we have budget cuts, we're also looking at how can community organizations sort of step in and maybe make a difference where we're seeing programs being cut in school. Okay, in general, there's lots of research, but in general, some of the things that we see is that children who have good literacy skills in school are children who have typically two components in their lives during early childhood. Number one, they have a lot of access to books. And number two, they have a lot of access to adults with whom they interact with the books. So those are two really important components. These are the two components that we based Book Cycle on. Okay, so Book Cycle's goal is to provide infants, toddlers, and preschoolers with developmentally appropriate, high quality, big difference there, high quality literature in their school setting. We do target low income children. We have children in centers all over the city, mostly in Head Start and the Tippecanoe County Child Care programs. We, like many programs, we donate books to young children. That's nothing new. We have actually quite a few of those programs, even here in Lafayette. The difference that we wanted to make, however, is that we don't just donate books, but we give children, we try to make them have a vested interest by, in fact, letting them choose the books. So we want them to be interested in the books in which that they choose, and then we sit down with them and read them with them and get them interested and ask them questions. These may or may not be practices that are happening in the home that actually predict later school success and later literacy success. So that's kind of our initiative. So that's how we build interest and give them a vested interest. How does it work? Well, upon enrolling in one of the programs, one of these classrooms where we are, the children are given, are allowed to choose 2 books, and those are theirs to keep. Every week after that, however, if they want a new book, they have to bring one. So they have to either bring one of the 2 books that they got, or they can bring any other book from home. But what it does is it sets in motion a habit of thinking about and appreciating books, that books are valuable, as opposed to charity. We aren't into charity because we understand that the charity thing doesn't work with children. So that's how we do it. So every week the children bring their books back, and then they get to go and they get to trade it in for a new book, hence book cycle. So children can potentially get a new book every week by trading. I have to say we've had two circumstances though where parents have come to us 2 times. I got this feedback from one of the teachers who was doing the program because I coordinate all of those teachers, and who said to us, well, I hope you don't mind, but we had, the parent came in and told us that they didn't want to trade in their book because, and this was a 3-year-old, they had never had a book before. Was that okay that they gave them a new book? Yeah, we're cool with that. So for the most part, children, almost in all cases, children trade, although we have had a couple situations where we actually let them just keep the book and we gave them a new one so that they could start the trading process. Our book cycle volunteers, after the children choose a book, either we have both English books and Spanish books, and after they get their book, we have our book cycle volunteers sit down, like I said, with them and read the books to them and get them excited about it and have a positive interaction. It's that positive interaction that we see statistically that garners interest in books and gives children a lot of background knowledge about what books do and how they work. These are pre-kindergarten skills that once they hit kindergarten, they need to have these skills so that they can then continue on with phonics and understanding exactly how to take a word and understand what it means and be able to read it. Just to give you some statistics, we started with the one classroom. In 2009, we gave away 1,291 books, new books to children in Lafayette. Each month in 2009, on average, about 231 books were traded back and forth. So that's good. Each site keeps on hand. I deliver books to them and try to keep them up to date with about 300 to 400 books so that children have a large variety to choose from to make it look a little bit like a library. Why are we important? Well, we are important because these early literacy experiences are so crucial for later school success. These are the skills that children will need to succeed in school, to get good jobs. When we talk about technology, there are no jobs that don't depend on reading and technology like we used to have. It's absolutely critical for our economy that we have good literate citizenry. So that's why we start so young, because we see these relationships and statistics. Where do we get our books? We get our books strictly from donations. We are completely a volunteer organization. There's absolutely no money that anyone involved makes from this. We get money from people, we solicit money. I send out letters to businesses and stuff, and they send us money. That's how we get all of our stuff. We buy all our books with this money. We've also had events such as the Lafayette Brewing Company did a fundraiser for us made us a lot of money. And then we go and we hook up with companies that give us books really, really cheaply. Again, we only buy high quality literature, so that's expensive. And so we have to use our money wisely, but we won't skimp on quality of the books for the children. All children will go home with good books. So that's our organization, and that's what we do. And now we have 3 minutes.